Is there such a thing as too much luck? Is there such a thing as too much fun? Messing around, wondering how it's taken so long. I'm really so strong. It's not too much at all.
Welcome to Too Much with Denise Love Hewitt. We have a very fun episode this week. I'm with the magical, mystical, brilliant Anita Rosenberg, who I met actually at Luna randomly. We started talking and she told me about all of her work, and we have some crossover with both have a background in Hollywood and then both have found a spiritual path. And so I'm really excited to share what she does because I think it's relatively unique and singular in Los Angeles, at least. So I'm going to read her bio and then we will begin. What began as an artist adventure throughout Asia became an odyssey of self-discovery and personal enrichment. A lifetime of metaphysical study has brought Anita to this spiritual place, and she wants to share it. As the go-to expert in LA, Aspen, New York City, and India for Feng Shui and Chinese astrology, her unique blend of Western and Chinese metaphysics transforms and illuminates each client's homes, businesses, and lives. An international speaker, award-winning author, and television personality with over 27 years of experience, Anita's high-profile clients, including Miranda Kerr, Ashley Tisdale, and Virginia Madsen, rave that she is fun to work with, authentic, and heartfelt. As one of the few female directors in Hollywood in the late 80s with cult classic films Modern Girls and Assault of the Killer Bimbos, Anita's mission is to direct others to reach their personal and professional goals while shining in the spotlight. Anita Rosenberg is the author of the popular culture Ippy award-winning book, How to Be the Star of Your Life, Lessons from Hollywood and Beyond. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you. Who knew a chance meeting at Luna would
I know.
bring
It's
you
very
here?
funny, but you embody so much of what Too Much is about, which is helping people live in their fullest truths and helping them get the tools to live in their purpose. And so it just feels like the stars were working in our favor a very long time ago.
The stars align. I love your focus and your purpose, and boy, do we need to uplifting and positive and understanding of what's happening energetically more than ever right now. So I'm thrilled. So the Chinese energies, shifted in February. So we're now in the heat, in the middle of a summer season. So summer season in Chinese metaphysics begins in May. So it's May, June, July.
Mm.
So we have so much more to go. There's so much more for people to do. Don't just write off the year going, oh, this year is really challenging. Let's move into next year. Because I'm going to tell you something, Denise. Next year is going to be worse. And the year after is going to be worse. And I'll tell you kind of why. But
Okay.
look, the key is understanding what is energetically happening. And then understanding like what are the opportunities and what can you do, right?
Yes.
And that's really super important. So what do you know about Feng Shui in
I
China?
was going to ask you, I know a lot about Western astrology. I know a good amount about every other sort of modality I think that exists. I know very little except for probably like what most of us know about Feng Shui or Chinese astrology. In your book, though, when I got it, I did the thing. You have a QR code at the back where you can go do your chart. And so I did my own little deep dive about myself and learn.
What's your day master? What day master?
Oh, I have to relook it up. But there was something about water. There was some weird stuff where I felt very dragged, like I felt very read by it. Oh, for example, it told me that I was going to be working in nightlife spaces, and I'm a DJ and have been in nightlife like my whole life. So it was like something that was very particular when I looked up the meaning of something where it was like, this represents nightlife. And I was like, wow, that's really exact coming from Chinese astrology. So I don't know. I did my own Google deep dive. So who knows? But I got the basics. But I think for everyone else that knows nothing about this, if you could give us a primer of why this is different than Western astrology and some of the fundamentals we need to know before we go into the year.
So all roads lead to Rome. So it's all going to tell you the same thing. It's just going to be a different language.
Mm.
And so whether it's Western, whether it's Vedic, whether it's Chinese, it's going to tell you the same things. It's based on a birth chart, cosmic energies are cosmic energies. I was one of the few female directors in the late 80s. I did Assault of the Killer Bimbos and Modern Girls. And then when there weren't a lot of opportunities for female directors, I went back to my art roots. I went to the San Francisco Art Institute and NYU Graduate Film School. And I started hand painting decor and furniture, and I was manufacturing in China. So here I am in Hong Kong, and I'm on a tour, and it's Feng Shui this and Feng Shui that. And I'm like, I want to know what is Feng Shui. I wanted to make my booths at the trade show so successful that people would buy from me. And that was really why I started the journey. It's been 27 years, and I will tell you, it just really resonates with me. I didn't know it was a career I could have. I didn't know it was a path I could take. So here you have a nice Jewish girl who does Chinese astrology, and I've done it for quite a long time. So the basic concept I'll tell you is it's the cosmic trinity of Chinese metaphysics, and it is everything affects 1/3 of our lives. So we have Heaven Luck. Heaven Luck is our astrology chart. So your astrology, whether it's your Western or your Chinese, it affects 1/3 of your life. So 1/3 is your earth luck. That's your feng shui. So, where you live and where you work, like I'm looking at your lovely space and your bookshelves. I mean, it either where we live supports us or it doesn't. And that's our feng shui. And then 1/3 is called man luck. And man luck is, what are you going to do about it? So these are what I like about this part is this is your action. You got to be proactive. This also fits into crystals, magic candle. One of my friends is a tarot expert out of New York was saying somebody was calling her and asking her to pray for a lawsuit or something. My friend was going, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm sorry, but people like, just pray for me. I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo that concept, but let's take some action and let's set some goals. And that's how you actually achieve things. There's those components. What I'll do, just quick explanation. In Western, we have 12 astrology signs, right? We have Pisces. And I go somewhere, so someone will tell me, I'm an Aries, I'm a Sag, I'm a Pisces. Now, I know what those means, but that really, it doesn't.
Right, it's not your language.
It's not my language, although I know what it means. But in Chinese, we have 12 animal signs. It's the same thing. So animal signs and astrology signs. Now, why did they call them animals? Because in the old days, feng shui and Chinese astrology was for the emperors and the rich. But then when they thought, oh, well, if it helps them, it can help everybody, which it can. So they named them after animals on the farm because most people were peasants and farmers. So here's a rat and here's a horse and here's a pig. Now we also have dragons. We have a couple celestial animals, but that's why it's so that it was a language everyone understood. And then we have planets, right? But in Chinese, there's nowhere for planet. It's called star. So that's the thing is then you have star energies flying around the animal signs. So I want to talk about what's happening generally so that everyone can benefit and learn something. But the deeper dive meat, which is kind of one of the things you did when you looked at the QR code that I gave everyone in the back of the book, because I want everyone to learn about themselves, is so when you know what your animal signs are, which is essentially what are your elements. So it's less that you're a horse and more that it's got fire. So once you know how your elements are playing in the playground of the energies, then you know what is your game plan. Because Denise, your game plan is not my game plan, is not someone else's game plan. So it's all personalized. So, you can start here and you can dive deep. I'm hoping that this would be helpful to people because the theme for this year is reinvention, continuity, it's growth and flow. It's growth and flow because it is a wood. It's a wood fire year. It's a wood snake year. So wood is growth.
And wood's not comfortable. Let's just tell everyone, growth is not a comfortable place to be.
That's true. But we'll get it comfortable. I'll tell you what's the more challenging is the snake, which is fire. So fire is explosive. It's unpredictable. It's explosive. It's represented by a flame. So we are living in a fire year. We're seeing fires. We're seeing explosions. We're seeing anger. We're seeing all those fiery things.
Outbursts. Yeah.
I'm going to layer this to give us a perspective of why we're seeing what we're seeing, because I think it's very helpful. We're in a fire season. Summer's the fire season. We're in the middle of the fire season. So we're friggin' fiery now. And then also we're in a feng shui 20-year period. So every 20 years we change periods of time. So in 2024, we started what's called period 9. So if you notice, people like to redecorate. Every 20 years, there's always a new trend or style or redecorating. And it happens because energetically there's a shift. So is Ligua, fire. Okay, so fire, fire, fire. So it's explosive, but it's creative. It's inspired. So here's a couple things just to maybe give everyone, like, so with the wood snake, you have to make deliberate choices and you need a long-term vision. And there's intense energy and it's brilliant. But think about it. You can either burn too bright and burn something, or you can illuminate, right? If you're like think about fire, okay? I love this analogy, especially when someone's a day master that's a yin fire. First of all, you're the tiki torch on the beach and you're lovely. And it's like, oh, we're going to have our dinner. And then tiki torch will go, but you know what? I have to spread, because the whole purpose of fire is to spread. It's like, oh, I want to do the bonfire. So now we're a bigger bonfire. And that's not enough. I think we're going to burn those trees over there because we need to spread. Oh, there's a village over there. And before you know it is spread. So that's the nature of the fire element. So we kind of want to maybe illuminate.
Right. We want to have a beautiful glow at a concert with our little phones up.
This is a great time for artists and writers and creators. Okay. So you're talking about like creating in wood and growing. It's so the areas that I think, and we're starting to see fashion, entertainment, culture, it's going to heal and enrich the heart and the mind. The AI rules right now. I've been going down the deep dive of AI right now, which has been fun. And I know I was watching some of your postings, and that's an area that you're very knowledgeable on.
Yeah, and very scared of.
So let's not be scared of it, because it's here. It's here. And we knew it would be here a few years ago, but it is fire. So the industries that are the fire industries are metaphysics, spirituality. So people who normally were not looking at metaphysics and spirituality will be diving deeper, and this might be for me. AI. Also, along with the AI component, then we also have a military and ammunition and missiles. So, I mean, that's a component in there. But it's also creativity and art and passion. And so I think what we're also seeing is no matter what side of whatever you're on, you're passionate. Like you might be passionate and showing it one way, and you might be passionate and showing it another way, but that's fire. It's about being passionate. What we're going to see is Ye Wood is about being flexible and willing to compromise, which is so important this year, because we're going to see negotiations for peace taking place on the world stage. We may not see these. We're not privy to this. Unless you're in government and you're in these negotiations, but they're taking place. So, and the yin fire snake brings light to darkness. It's going to reveal what's hidden. And I think we can all say, yes, things have been hidden and the pot's off. Pot's off, right? It's going to move fast and it can be explosive. And you can be uninspired one day and have a flash of inspiration the next day. And I love that idea. So you want to hold your cards close to your heart, because not everything is what it seems. So I think that's what AI is showing. Not everything is what it seems. We don't know what is fake, what is real. And, covert activities and negotiations may lead to sudden change and surprising developments in the world. So I think there's covert things happening. We don't know. We aren't going to know. And it will bring some sudden developments. Now, here's something I just wanted to explain. When I found this out, it's like, oh my God, this is kind of illuminating for me. So the next 2 years, because everyone's like, oh, next year will be better. So 2026 and 2027 are both fiery years.
Okay.
It is the Crimson Horse and the Red Goat year. So what the fuck does that mean? So what we do is we look at when the last time we had the Crimson Horse and the Red Goat, and we see what happened in history, and we can expect very similar things. So one of the things is in 1906 was Crimson Horse, and 1907 was the Red Goat year. Here's what happened. Spark World War I. The Great San Francisco earthquake. San Francisco school board said that Japanese children had to be educated in separate classrooms. We had the panic of 1907. It was the first worldwide financial crisis of the 20th century. Okay. Feels a little bit like what's happening now. If you look at the next time we had it was 1966 and 67. And that was the year, actually, I don't even have my notes, but that was the hippie time period. That actually, if you saw, did you see
the free love movement?
Free love, it was Vietnam War. But then when I saw the Bob Dylan movie, so what was happening then? 66, 65, which is the movie takes place, he's acoustics. What's he do in 66? He goes electric, right? Fire. So we can look at that pattern.
It doesn't necessarily have to be World War. It could also be a movement, a different type of movement.
Well, history changes. So yes,
Right.
it feels like World War III. It doesn't mean we have World War III. It feels like it. With 66, 67, we had the Vietnam War. So there are wars, and wars look different now, and it's a different kind of engagement. I'm just saying it's very volatile.
Right.
So
Unpredictable.
let's talk about the next 2 years. China will be the most affected. The reason they're the most affected is they're in the East, and East is wood, and wood gets burned by fire. But what affects, they're a world power. So what affects China will affect us.
Right.
We really do want to look and see what's happening with China, because what is affecting them will affect us. Here's the Debbie Downer notes. Expect violent upheavals and riots. There could be more natural disasters. Expect radical change in financial institutions, restructuring of labor and employment, and monetary consumerism will take on a complete overhaul. So the point is, we're in a time of huge change. So what can we do? We can resist it, and we can be sad, and we can be depressed. But you know what? I posted this one thing, and I did it, and a few days later we had the fires here, and it kind of hurt my feelings, because a longtime friend said, who never posts on anything, commented that, are you being, what is it called, being deaf or blind, or like I wasn't paying attention to what was happening when I posted it.
Right. Tone deaf. Yeah.
Tone deaf. I posted it 3 days before the fires. And what I said is, you can weather the upcoming storms by having a good life, creating good memories, experiences with people you love. Enjoy your life along the way, as you work on creating wealth so that you have money to do the things that you love to do. Make a point of taking one super trip this year, whatever that is for you, and decide to be profitable and proactive to reach your financial goals and your personal goals. And I'm sorry, but I don't think that's being tone deaf. I think that's being like, what actions can I take? What man luck can I take? Right?
Yeah.
And so that's something to keep in mind. And then I also threw this year a tarot card, because I also do tarot, and that's Western. But the card I pulled, if you know anything about tarot, I pulled the sun card. And the sun was just beautiful. It represents light and illumination. That's another fire component. And it's the right amount of sunshine is warm and inviting, and it helps to nurture and grow things. And it too much, and we get burned. Okay, so that's something to consider. And light exposes the truth. I'm seeing themes hitting in a few different ways, and those are the things I'm paying attention to. So here's my top tarot advice, which I think is more positive advice for this year. Stay positive and uplift others. And that's what you're doing with your podcast and your mission and what you're sharing with people. Keep your inner circle small. I thought this was an interesting thing to think about, because I think we all you want to have more followers and bigger people, but that's not really what this time is. Keep your mind growing, watch what you create, stay grounded, think before you speak. There'll be a renaissance in the arts. And I love that, because I follow a lot of artists and art people. I had gone to art school, and that is something I'm following. And remember, and then again, people all over the world are dreaming of the life that you have. And that's on any level, whatever that is.
I always remind myself that 12-year-old me is so impressed with my life. Remember other versions of you that would have been very satisfied with where you are now, even if you are not currently satisfied with where you are.
Yeah. So then when we talk about this period 9, and so what that is, it's Saturn, Jupiter, and Earth align. And that happens every 20 years. So here we are. I'm doing Western speak along with Chinese speak. And there'll be new laws and new results. Now, some people during period 9 are going to spiral downward. You cannot get up here if you're down here. So I always tell people, you've got to, if you feel in a downward spiral, get to neutral. Whatever you need to do, meditate, go to yoga, talk to friends, see a therapist, whatever helps you, get to neutral. Because once you're neutral, we can get you up. I can't get you from there to there. I just can't do it. Nobody can do it. You know, the business trends are going to be the metaverse and space travel. This was a conversation we started having in 2023, and we're seeing where that's moving. Spiritual growth is big. People are interested in self-awareness, self-improvement. And it's all about searching for your truth, and it's about wellness. So that's super important. And, you know, the industry, so I'm just going to give you an overall industry. So it's Li Gua. Li Gua is middle-aged women. It's a time of middle-aged women. And I'm a little disheartened because I was saying this for a few years to all clients. Oh, you go girl, it's your time, middle-aged women. And it's like, oh my God, can more crappy things be happening to women right now?
I know. The time we're in is there's all this resistance because women are gaining a stronger foothold economically and in the power sphere. And so that's not going to happen without some resistance when you're challenging a system that has been established for a long time. But I talk a lot about the male loneliness epidemic, and what's happening in the dating sphere for men and women is that women are now economically more advantaged. And so they're not looking for their partner as a financial provider, which was a key construct of why people got married for a long time, because it wasn't until the 70s and 80s that women could have full ownership. They couldn't even get a credit card until the 70s without a male co-signer. And so now that you have that happening, men have to provide emotional attunement. And what we're seeing is they have not evolved in that capacity. I'm working on a solo podcast episode about this, so it's coming out soon. But by 2030, 50% of women are going to choose to remain single. And I think that's a very interesting stat.
It really sort of aligns with it because the notes I have are middle-aged women will finally get recognized and respected. Women are the new rising leader and powerhouse. Men will challenge women. Male leaders will be seeking more and more power because dictatorship is on the rise. But dictatorship is such a low vibrational way of dealing in the world.
A low vibe thing.
And men have to adjust to the empowered female. So when I work with clients, my first thing is if it's a guy, partner with women, befriend the women in your office, have products for women. So those are the things that you can do to tune in with that. Also, other areas that are legal is eyes. So we're going to probably see more advancement in laser eye things and eye improvements. And Ashley Tisdale is a client. She's a beauty line. I think I mentioned her last year. Like, I don't think she has things for eyes yet, but have things for eyes, whatever that means. But eyes are one of the areas. Those are the things that you want to look at when you want to sort of align with the next 20 years of period 9. I wanted to also mention, so in this year, we have something called flying stars.
Got it.
So if I'm feng shuiing someone's space, I'll do what's called 8 mansions, and I will grid it out and I will tell them what aligns with them, what doesn't in the place. And that's more like long term. But there's something called flying stars, which are remember, stars are like planets. And what are the energies flying into your space? What are the 2 sectors in your house or your office this year to trigger for positive chi, for wealth chi?
Okay.
So what do you think we would have to do to trigger a feng shui sector? What would be your
like spatially?
I don't know.
Or internally?
What would you think we would need to do? In feng shui is about our environment. So what do you think would trigger? If I tell you that you should trigger, let's say star 8 is the wealth trigger in the Southwest, what do you think you would need to do to trigger that area?
I think you need less clutter.
Actually, what you need to do is use the space.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
Well, you don't need to. So you don't need to hang a trinket.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to do tchotchkes. You don't necessarily need to stick your crystal and your various things. Those things are fun, and I believe in them. But what really triggers, the best way to trigger your feng shui is you or a yang, just use the space. So if your Southwest area is your office, use your office.
Got it.
Southwest is your front door, go in and out of your front door.
I need to have a think about what's my Southwest space.
Just use your kitchen more. If it's your laundry room and you're rarely there, then you're probably not going to really be able to trigger the space unless you're doing a ton of laundry. This is classical feng shui. This is what real Chinese feng shui is, being able to activate the space. Now, there's other things we can do. So if everyone thinks about where's the Southwest of their place, you can add yang elements. You could add a television, a fan, a clock. You could just spend more time there. You can play loud music there. I mean, those are little Band-Aid-y fixes.
Okay.
The one thing that it's probably one of the most popular things I offer because it's so easy to do. When people are like, they want the quick fixes. So I do feng shui activations, and feng shui activations and they're wealth activations. So you have them throughout the whole year, and it will be a specific day. at a specific time in a specific location in your place, and you put a water vase. So the more water in the larger vase, the more money, because water and wealth are very similar in Feng Shui. And so for 2 weeks, you fill this giant water vase and you shove it in that one place and you leave it for 2 weeks. And there's multiple dates every month. And some of the sectors might be a candle sector. So not water, it'd be like light a candle for 2 weeks. I like doing that along with other things. Some of my clients just want to do that. They're like, "This everything's too complicated. I'm just going to stick the water vase and I'll be done."
Yeah, that's all I need.
That's all I need. So now I have a client who's a big mucka at UTA. And it's good that he calls me, because it's like, oh yeah, I didn't realize today, because I forget to write it down. I go, oh, I got to activate too. He's like, is today the day? Do I got to do this? Do I need a candle?
Yep.
So that's a water vase activation. There's nothing general I can tell somebody. It's something that it's very specific. So
Right. So it's based on your chart. So you couldn't just say like this day, do the water vase. They'd have to understand their chart to know what day and what time.
To a degree. But what you can do for our purposes, you could just trigger your Feng Shui sector, which will, listen, it will work maybe 5 or 10% versus 30%. And that's better than no percent, right?
Right.
So the other sector is your future wealth, and that's the star number 9, and that is in your east area
Okay.
of your house. So if you can't do southwest, let's say it's your laundry room, but it's like, ooh, but the east is my home office, or the east is, maybe it's my living room and I'm always in the living room, or my dining room, I'm eating there. So you just want to spend more time. And what this will do is it will increase your fame and reputation, because the more fame and reputation you have, the more your future earnings will come in. And you could make calls from this area. You could do research, you work on marketing and sales, use this area to increase revenue, plan your social posts. So this is a little bit of a higher level of Feng Shui of how, yes, I can be in the room, but if I do the activities that will help me with future wealth, I'll have a better connection.
Okay.
Yeah, because one of the things that I do, and I'm saying this because, yes, it's a service I offer, but I just want to explain how to really maximize these energies, and even just to let people acknowledge it. Remember in the past, you would hear like Nancy Reagan or different people consult their astrologer on the best dates to do stuff. Well, it's true. And you can consult your Western astrologer, but in Chinese. So I'll just show you. This is my Google. I create on Google.
Okay.
See the red days? Anyway, the red days are the amazing and excellent days, and the gray days are not great days.
Got it.
And so if I'm going to do something like, let's say, I will tell you all that Saturday is a success day for everyone. Okay. So it's a 3-star success day. Use it for something great. And the direction is northwest. What you want to do is northwest would be put your back. This is Qimendinzhong. This is magical, mystical components of this work. Put your back to northwest at the beginning of the day. Just tap into some energy and go, I want to have a successful day. This is part of just your meditating and getting yourself in alignment with the daily energy. And I'll read it. So once you push it, it tells you, success day, one of the best days when you want to be successful. It's great for business, personal relationships, seeking medical treatments. A lot of the calendar date stuff is if you're doing medically and you want to ensure that you have a successful and productive procedure, business proposals, selling. But then it also has, stomach constellation. It's a day of fulfillment and satisfaction. And so what it tells you is back northwest is moon. So their moon is, so I'll just describe a little bit, because I just think this is one of the be-all end-alls of Chinese metaphysics. I wasn't going to go into it, but I've kind of run out of stuff to...
No, I'm happy to get into it.
So Guardians of Destiny, there's 10 of them. They're 10 energy patterns. Everyone has all 10. They have them in their charts. They have them in different areas, and they have them at different levels. And these are meditations. So think of that your Wi-Fi port is the back of your neck. So if the Wi-Fi port of the day is northwest, I'm giving this for everybody too. So let's say the Wi-Fi port is the northwest. What energy? Oh, it's moon. Okay. So you put your back to northwest, which is Wi-Fi, meaning you're instantly Wi-Fiing the energy. And moon it's my favorite. And it's one of the energies I have a high level of. It's knowledge, information, study. So I would use this to learn a new AI tool. I would learn this if you're writing something, if you're studying something. And you will find that on Saturday, when you plug in and you just supercharge, it's like the Wi-Fi code of Northwest, and you get on, you'll learn it better. It will be like, wow, I didn't get that stuff yesterday, but all of a sudden today it's making sense. So that's what you want to use moon for, is think Albert Einstein's, to be smart, for intelligence, intellectuals.
When you said it's a 3-star success day, what do you mean by the stars? Are there different levels of success days?
I do this with an associate of mine, Amy, and Amy is in Minnesota. So she's a very different clientele than I do. And she looks at things a lot differently than me. So it's nice to work on these things together. And we will look at the Feng Shui for the day. We will look at the Qi Men chart. We look at all these different charts and we hand plot this thing. It takes us 3 months to do this.
It's really hard.
And Jen, I'm like, every year, I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like, she takes 6 months. I take 6 months. It's still a lot. And I don't want to do it this year, but then I use it. So even if people do, I have a lot of clients that use it, especially for businesses, and share it with their teams. And they're great for if you're going to do a launch. So basically, if it's 3 stars, it's got lots of juice,
Okay.
If it only has 1 star, it's still pretty good.
Okay.
And then the question was always with clients, because I've been doing the calendar for about 10 years. They're like, well, what do we do during a shit day? Do we just pretend the day didn't exist? Well, no. Because if you know that the day does not really align with everybody, first of all, you know how there's days that just feel like it's off.
Yeah.
You get up and you're like, I'm just having an off day. I don't know what it is. And then there's days where like, man, I'm on fire. I'm making that call. I'm doing this thing because I don't know what's happening, but I'm in the zone. It can be explained by looking at the calendar, because if it's an excellent day, everyone's in tune. Everyone's flying and things are moving. If it's not a good energy day, and then if it's a day that clashes your personal chart, you're like, oh yeah, I can see. I would not go after something super important. I mean, I've done it. I have done a post or something or a newsletter just because it's like there's not a lot of great days all week. I get nothing.
Right.
And so, but I'm like, but I gotta put out. So there is that. And I've had clients in the past like just want to put on their suit of armor and their swords and go, I'm just going to fight my way through. And it's like, why? Yeah. Why would you fight your way through with it? Why not? I mean, I love those days where you're just like in the flow, right? You're at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. They don't happen all the time. They're cool, right?
Yeah, it's very special. And so then I just want to go back so I have an understanding just for myself. So if we're in this fire period for the next 3 years and it's going to be a lot of growth, very volatile, we don't really know what's going to birth or what it's going to look like. Do you have insight into what comes after that? Do things like start looking less intense after that?
Usually what happens is my teacher's Joey Yap. He's out of Malaysia. He's like the go-to guy. And I just have studied with him and I just love he's young and I love his philosophies on things. And so every year we just learn the year and I don't even look beyond the year. So for me to have just any idea of the next 2 years is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And it really is just telling us the animals coming in. So we have the snake. So it just says, so then after the snake, then we have the horse, and then we have the, I don't know, whatever the next one. Oh yeah, the goat. You see, you're better at this than I am.
No, I'm just really listening.
It's the fire season. So after we do the fire season, we're going to head into, I don't know if it's the metal season or the earth season.
A different energy.
My hard drive of my brain can only hold so much information.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So energetically, it will change, but you have to remember, even though there's fire on the bottom, there'll be different. So we have the wood on top, but you'll have other elements on the top that will go along with it. So it's not going to necessarily be a growth year next year because this is the last year of the wood.
Right. Wood. And the snake sort of reveals what's not being shown. It's like it's more sneaky. Am I right in that?
Yeah, it can be. It's sneaky, and it mainly is the yin of fire. It's the flame. It's a fiery flame. And so then the flame burns the wood. So we're looking at that. But that's just a really basic way to look at it.
Okay. I just feel like there's a lot going on. I want to give people
Okay, I want to ask you, give me your top 3 takeaways from just the things I've said of where you want to plot and plan the rest of just this year. Let's just talk this year.
Just this year.
I don't
Okay.
know whether you must have a day master that is a long-term person. I wish you would remember that.
Probably.
There's 3 actions that you want to take this year that you feel are positive and proactive based on some of the things I said about the wood fire.
Well, what gives me a lot of hope and excitement is this idea that a new renaissance will be born, and we have this huge opportunity for creativity and healing to come forth in spite of the volatility. Part of what I've been trying to do over the past 5 years is really, I believe the blueprints that our society has put forth are expiring, and we don't have new blueprints. And so a lot of what I'm trying to do is use a podcast and my writing to help people figure out what is the blueprint that works for them. And that's a lot of what you just do in Chinese astrology anyways. But the idea that there's a new version of creativity coming forth feels very hopeful to me. The other thing that excites me is the rise of women. Historically, we've seen volatility has existed when men are in charge. And then we look at people like Jacinda, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, who represents a different paradigm of leadership. And I really think we need a rise of collectivity and care in a world, especially when the wealth gap is quite large and people are being deported and undervalued or dehumanized. There's a more peaceful version of the world that we can live in with less friction. And so that comes through in my personal belief and philosophy is the balance of the masculine and the feminine. I don't believe in this polarity of either or. I think for us to have a harmonized world, we need that balance. And right now we are over calibrated in the masculine. And so that feels maybe we have a chance to balance out.
Well, a note that I just made for you and your businesses would be teaching the new leaders. So if you are identifying who are the new leaders, then your job is, how can I prepare you? How can I encourage you, teach you, and prepare you? Because they may not be prepared. Just saying that the new leaders are women doesn't mean they're all ready to be leaders.
No, I think leadership is it's a very intense personal journey. You have to face a lot of your demons to be.
But that makes what you're doing very valuable, and that can help give you your focus on, okay, well, here's my game plan. Here's my 3-prong approach to that, whether you're in this field or this field or that field.
The principles, the guiding principles.
Yeah. Because in my practice, I may not tell you how to get there, but I'll tell you where you need to go.
Well, Anita, you're right on the money because my book is very similar to that premise, the book I'm working on. So you zoned in.
Good. All right. Well, what's your third takeaway?
My third takeaway is that we need to give ourselves grace in a time of a lot of upheaval. And as you said, nothing is as it seems. So knowing that when information is revealed, I think right now people are in very reactive states and very, very easy to get in your high cortisol reactivity state, fear-based state. If we know that nothing is as it seems, let's just take a breath and let's wait and see what unfolds, as we've seen this year many times with like tariffs being upheld and then not being upheld, TikTok ban being upheld, but then not being upheld. We don't actually know what's happening day to day. We do know that there's a lot of uncertainty and that makes people really scared. But if we can just hold a little space and grace for ourselves to take a pause, and when we actually have all the information, we can make a decision. But I think that's what I've been waiting on is are we devolving into fascism? I don't know. We still don't have all that information. There's still a good amount of resistance happening. When I have certitude that that might be our future, then maybe I'll look for my exit out of the US. But I've been sort of just taking it step by step, knowing that more will be revealed.
Well, even on tariffs, I'll just give you an example. A few years ago, we didn't know it'd be tariffs. But because my teacher talks a lot about Asia, because he's Asian, he has no skin in the game in the West. So it's always an afterthought. Oh, here's what's happening in the West. It's more like his focus is what's happening. And he's in Malaysia. He's not in China. But I told a few of my clients about trying to find other sources. So I have a client who's the major buyer for Target. Major buyer. Her clients sell all the toys and all the things. It's all in China. Like she has giant showrooms for just each client has a giant showroom. So a few years ago, I was saying to her, because they were having different issues about product coming from China, start searching for other countries. And you know what? She has. She got a tea line out of Japan. She's got a fabulous line out of New Zealand. And she is so excited. She's gone from what she knew for decades. And she's so excited about these new fields and giving these new products a chance and offering them to target, which is growing their companies. And this is a chance of, instead of just going down the rabbit hole of being frustrated, what can I do? Where can I, pivot up? I imported from China a long time ago. In 2000, I imported my containers of my handmade products, and I was one of the few people importing from there. I'm aware of that process a little bit, but that's how you see what's happening, and then you look to see, well, what actions can I take to make a different decision to move where I'm going.
My intuition says the next decade is going to challenge everyone, and especially the young kids coming out of college, to be wildly resilient and adaptable, because the global workforce market is changing so rapidly with AI, with political upheaval. And so the idea of being just ready to pivot and like sowing resilience is probably the number one thing people can do right now to prepare themselves for whatever is coming, because there is going to be so much shift.
It is. So can I talk, since we're heading to the end of it, I want to talk about my book, because
please talk about your book.
Well, so I spent 10 years working on this book. So anyway, I felt like I wanted to write something that kind of put a period on my career in the late 80s as one of the few film directors. If I thought there was a career in film for me, I would have stayed in the business because I loved it. But thank God I didn't, and that the business has changed. It's very different, and there really wasn't anything for female directors. So what I decided to do is try to combine my businesses in a way, even though it sounds like it's like how to be in the movie business, it's actually how to be creative and inspired. And you got the book, so you know, I interviewed all my famous friends in the movie business about creativity. So this is Catherine Hardwicke. She directed Twilight. I'll tell you, reading her chapter is amazing, because when she did Twilight as a female director and it made a ton of money, they did not offer her the sequels.
Yeah.
You did not get any. It's like, oh, it's so heartbreaking to me to see what's happening. But it's not just women. I mean, I interviewed Ernie Dickerson. He shot all the Spike Lee films. So most of the people in the book went to film school with me at NYU. And one of my girlfriends, Marianne Brandon, edited Star Wars, Star Trek, Mission Impossible. And I love her story. Her story was that she sort of shares that I love is she was editing Alias, the TV show. Remember that show? Yep. And she was working for J.J. Abrams. And all of a sudden, J.J. gets his first feature. I forget whether, I think it was the Star Trek. And all of a sudden, an editor is coming into her room and her editing space and watching what's going on. And she goes, "Why are you here?" He goes, "Oh, well, I'm editing the new J.J. Abrams feature." And she was pissed. So she goes into J.J.'s office. So she's now pissing. But she goes in his office. She goes, "Why did you hire someone else?" And she goes, "Well, did you want the job?" And she goes, "Yes." He goes, "Well, you didn't tell me." So her lesson, and she did a TED Talk, is ask for what you want. He goes, "You're hired. I didn't know you wanted the job." It's just these simple lessons. But I love that with Cloris Leachman, it's her last interview. She was a legendary actress. And my friend, Ann Beats, was one of the first writers of Saturday Night Live, female writers on that. And she talks about, I'll just paraphrase really quick because I love her story. So her story is she's working on National Lampoon, and then it's Saturday Night Live stuff. And every week the guys went to a Chinese restaurant, and one of the guys kept leaving the phone because his wife kept calling. She was a teacher. Like, "When are you coming home? When are you coming home?" And she goes, "I realize then and there I'm not going to be the girl at the other end of the phone call. I'm going to be at the table with the big boys." And she goes, "To be at the table with the big boys, you need balls. And if you don't have real balls, you need metaphorical balls." So anyway, and then what you were referring to is what I wanted to do is I want you to read and be empowered, but I want you to know your chart. So this, I'm putting my fingers because you got to get the book to know it, but here's a QR code. It's free. And scan it, and it's going to give you your day master, your profile in business, I think a couple other magical things. And you can do it for your family, your business partners, your kids, and learn about them. Because when I know somebody is, if I know someone's a jaw with day master, I know they're going to be like this. They're going to be inflexible, and they're not going to really move. And I got to give them a title, and I just know how to talk to them. Right. I know if I have a sin metal person I'm dealing with, they're a pretty piece of jewelry. I got to flatter them. "You're gorgeous. You're pretty. You're this. You're that." And they'll do anything for me. If I flatter, let's say, an earth person, I'm not getting anywhere because they just want loyalty and they want to know your secrets. So it's nice. I love these tools, and you can do it yourself. There's a little do-it-yourselfer to it. And it can empower you as you're trying to navigate with other people. You don't do it alone.
It's always helpful to affirm what you know about yourself or to provide deeper insight into you, but then to know how to show up for the people in your life. Because with all these tools, for me, we don't all speak love the same way. We don't all speak connection the same way. So it gives you a better way to feel connected to people in your life. And I think that's probably the number one driver. I mean, it is the number one driver of happiness is connection. So it's important.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I had such a nice time, and I'd love if anyone wants. I'm on every social media platform.
We're going to put everything in the show notes so anyone can find you. And then certainly buy her book, get your QR code to understand what you are. But Anita, thank you so much. This is very helpful for people that are feeling a little bit helpless right now. It's really helpful to have a forecast of how we can just take it in stride, but also know what's coming and feel prepared, and then some inspiration as well. It's not all doom and gloom.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you do like listening, it would mean the world to us if you could subscribe or review the podcast anywhere that you watch or listen to the podcast. It really helps with the algorithm to share this with the world. I want to give a special thank you to young Spielberg and Sarah Yarkin for their beautiful work on our opening jingle, Dana Boulos for her help with the beautiful art, and to all of you for tuning in and keeping this dream alive. If you want to hear certain topics or from certain guests, please feel free to email us. We really, really want to hear from you and see how we can best support you. See you next time.